Hey, I haven't played this in a while because of the glitch for the game with like semi-soft lock and you couldn't pick up a third weapon. They have not patched this in about 2 weeks. Actually, by the time you guys see this, it will have been 2 weeks since they patched it, or maybe even more depending on when I upload this. The way I fixed it is I went to the controls and all I had to do was just switch the confirm and back button. I made it to the American PlayStation standard. This game, it natively picks up a PS4 controller, but it defaults to the Japanese like PlayStation standards, where circle is accept and X is cancel. So all I did is swap those, and it fixed the problem where I couldn't pick anything up. So I'm going to go ahead and show off some of the changes here. I don't know if I'm going to do a full run or not. Depends on how I'm feeling. Pick up a spare weapon. And that's just pretty much the only good thing. See if I can find a shop first. You get new rankings. I'm not sure if it actually means anything or not. Now I have the passive that gives you a food item every time you clear a floor, which is really nice. But you can't really stockpile it because of the way the rotten food system works. So you can see the prices are down across the board. This stuff is actually affordable now. The problem was a lot of this stuff you pretty much have to like sacrifice everything to get even one of those items. Also, upgrading things has been drastically reduced as well. Now, I'm not entirely sure why they have not updated in 2 weeks. Seems like they're kind of switching the way that they run this game from updating like all the time to, I guess, having more substantial updates. So maybe I lucked out that I couldn't fix this problem for so long. Other people have reported the issue too. It wasn't just me having the problem. Apparently a lot of the Chinese players were having problems with it as well, but for whatever reason they have not fixed it. Luckily I found a way. Now you notice the monsters are reviving. They actually implemented the misfortune system, which is basically just the monsters get buffs as you put more skills in your skill tree. That was not active before. They've made that active now. Skeleton passive, misfortune passive is kind of annoying because they keep getting up. Slows the pace of the game down a little bit. But I guess the game's kind of getting to the point where I don't know how trivial it would be. I hear that the hardest difficulty is like borderline impossible or something. But I guess they just wanted to increase the difficulty a little bit to kind of offset how much more power they've given the player. Recent updates, the title system, relaxing some of the requirements on the skill tree as well. It was common, you know, this is a roguelike, so they don't want it to be too easy. Obviously, there's always the risk of making things artificially difficult or just plain annoying. So that's definitely a very real issue. They even said that if they implement hazards in the game that they have to be careful about it because definitely don't want to piss people off. Especially since this game is actually selling pretty well. I mean, it's not like a million seller or anything, but considering there's like no publicity for it at all, I think it's actually doing pretty well. So they don't want to get to the point where they alienate people. So you can see how cheap it is to upgrade this to level 3. Level 3 tends to be when you get the best passive. So the fact that I can get to level 3 on the first floor just from full clearing it and using the challenge badges that it gives me, that's a pretty big deal. So for this weapon, you get an extra Boro Strike, which actually does some pretty good damage. I don't think there's anything else here worthwhile. Actually, the Shadow Cloak's pretty fun. We'll get that. So on my last run that I did off camera when I was making sure that I had fixed the game, it actually, I think I had like 2 level 4 items, which was pretty much unheard of before. Like, you never had that happen. Oh, that finish, that combo was sexy. They actually changed the way that the glaive special move works. Seems like it keeps them in place for longer, so you can actually use the broadsword special move a lot easier. Also, I don't know if I'm going to commentate this whole run. It'll have to depend on how I feel, but they changed the final boss. It is back to being a singular snake again instead of 2 of them. And it also takes damage from everything. It doesn't have the cooldown period anymore when you hit it. So the fight actually goes a lot smoother. The way that they kind of balance it out for making it easier is that they made it so it attacks faster. So it's a little bit more of an intense fight. Shadow Cloak is pretty fun, so I'm gonna go ahead and focus on upgrading that. I think I have a badge too. Yeah, I do. Shame there's no English community for this. I think this game is something special. I don't really think there's too many people that particularly focus on roguelikes anymore, or like big channels. At least not on YouTube. You know, there's a couple people on Twitch that do pretty well with Isaac, but even the people who do that are kind of phasing it out, so to speak. You know, they don't play it as much. I know Northern Lion, you know, he's like a big Isaac channel. Even he has been playing it a lot less, so maybe that's part of the reason. You know, maybe some of those people want to play something like this, but they just feel that it won't perform well. I'm no stranger to that either. You know, sometimes I have stuff that I cover that just feels like, you know, games like this. You know, I don't really expect to get rich off this game, but I enjoy playing it. It's fun. I think it does offer some entertainment value. So I continue to record it, but I don't really expect anything to come out of it. Isaac was pretty much the only roguelike that like really took off with videos, you know, the video content creation world. You have other stuff, but like none of it has really had the impact, you know, even though there's been plenty of roguelikes out there that have been better. I don't even think stuff like Enter the Gungeon, which was pretty highly marketed compared to other stuff. I don't even think that really got to the point where it had any really big streamers stick with it. I know that they did a pretty big campaign for it when it came out. They gave like a lot of the big Isaac streamers, they gave them like an advanced key, and they did like a whole event around it. And I mean, mean, I don't know their financials or anything, but it seems like it actually worked pretty well for them. I don't know how often that happens, though. What I understand, like, offering keys to streamers is like kind of a crapshoot. You don't know how long they'll play it. You know, if they have any kind of bad experience with it at all, then that's going to tell people that it's not a good game. You know, it's most likely just a... most cases it's just a bug. You know, there'd be like a problem with the game that they fix quickly, but by that time the streamer has already moved on. Must be pretty risky giving out keys to big streamers. And all they have to say is the game sucks, or they just rage quit it, and then that's pretty much seal the deal for anybody they follow really playing it, let alone buying it. I mean, I've gotten some stuff from Keymailer that I ended up not liking, and I felt kind of bad that I didn't play it that much, but at the same time, a Steam key is pretty much free. You know, developers can make thousands of them if they want to. You know, if you sell like even one copy at all, they're probably better off. It's not like, you know, the old days where a company would have to physically send you a copy of the game. It's pretty much just generating a key and giving it to somebody. Oh, I got S rank. Nice. So they've reduced the amount of jars in the area, but apparently they give items more often. Kind of an interesting change. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to full clear the rest of this. I'll try to just get to the point so you guys can see the changes, and then probably just play more later. Double check the shop here. Yeah, none of this stuff is great. I hear the bow is really broken, I've just never really cared to use it. I imagine I'll have to put more of a thought process into which weapons I take when they add more movesets, but I don't know when that's happening. They've said that it's something they want to do at some point, but I don't know when that will be. Should be able to hopefully combo this boss to death. Nice. Maybe that's why the final boss is a giant East monster instead of just a humanoid enemy that you can juggle. Can't deny it's satisfying to do that stuff, though. Flame Boots 3 I'd probably take, but since this is only a normal mode run, I don't really think I need that extra kind of power. I'm gonna try to focus on just maximizing what I have. So what's really broken about this weapon is once you get the counter state, which means you just block something, you can use the counter like 3 times, so it stacks a ton of damage. Doesn't seem like I'm going to get a good broadsword this run, but that's good enough. I don't think I have anything else too great. The Scorpion's not that great, or as the game calls it, the Scorpion. Scoprian. It's not too great. I don't think poison is really a strong element in this game, but I might invest in that. We'll see. One downside to the food passive is that a lot of it does go to waste if you're actually playing well. The way it works is after you clear a floor and you leave, the food will go rotten. At that point, it has a chance to either increase or decrease your health. So sometimes it can be kind of detrimental to take it. You have to really risk it. I think I'm gonna full clear this floor so that I can max out the Shadow Cloak and the Glaive, and then I'm just gonna rush the next one so that you guys can kind of get the point a little faster. Next thing I need to work on is clearing Nightmare mode, and that's obviously not gonna happen this run since we're just playing on normal. So kind of testing, doing a commentary for this throughout the whole run. Like, see right here, 30% chance to get 5% HP and a 70% chance to get 10. I don't know if the food can actually kill you or not. That's actually a pretty interesting question. I'm not sure. I tend to just not take it at all unless I'm in like really dire straits. See how much I need to upgrade this stuff. Otherwise, I'm just gonna rush to the end. I have enough right now. Oh, so this procs poison on other enemies. Not the best. But you can see like how balanced my build is right now. And obviously, I picked up the shield. I didn't upgrade it, but I have I have a level 4 weapon, a level 3, and then a level 3 item. The drops I've gotten for the items, or the equipment, hasn't been that great this run. But it's still a pretty balanced build. I actually have the money to get stuff. Instead of before, it was a huge undertaking getting one thing at level 3. gonna rush to the end. There's only like 4 or 5 more floors. More rooms on this floor. Hey, you see how much damage that did? Oh man, fastest harpy fight ever. Nah, fortunately this is on normal mode, so it's not really an impressive feat or anything, but it feels satisfying with how long that fight can take otherwise. This weapon's pretty nice. You actually do get a pretty decent amount of HP back. I don't know how feasible it'll be now that the special move for the glaive tends to stay on one enemy. When it homed in on the enemies before, sometimes you can get some extra kills that way. I'll have to test that later on. I don't think there's much else I really need at this point. I'm not going to get an elemental weapon this run aside from this, and poison's not too helpful on the boss. I've never actually gotten this to level 4 before, so I should probably check this out for science and see what it does. No, it doesn't do anything special. Alright, whatever. Hopefully they add a compendium that tells you what things do. Maybe after you like unlocked it once or something, so you don't have to commit it to all the memory. Hopefully I'll have a smoother time on Nightmare mode now that I have all these extra passives and stuff. I just couldn't play the game because it had that glitch that I was luckily able to fix without waiting for a patch. Only I had known that 2 weeks ago. guys are like reverse stormtroopers with their accuracy. They have like pinpoint accuracies. You basically can't air combo safely at all with them on the screen because they will hit you out of it. So I tend to prioritize them. The mages are pretty high priority too in these ghost wizard knife dudes or whatever. But the flowers for sure, especially since they proc poison, and that can add even more damage. So there's not much else worth upgrading at this point. My build is not the best. But having 3 level 4 weapons was like unheard of before, unless you got really lucky with drops. Now it's pretty much a drop in the bucket. I didn't even full clear the last floor. I'm only halfway through this one, and I have like this much stuff, so I can see why they added the misfortune system to make the game not feel like it's too easy. 3 of the flowers is bad news. You can see how good their accuracy is. Sometimes they'll even angle it to where you're landing. I've had times where I've landed on their attack. That flower wants it so bad right now. I find it funny that a game like this has more enemies that can fight against the player doing a big air combo than the big budget stuff. You are by no means invincible when you're in the air in this game. That was a pretty legitimate complaint a lot of people had about DMC, was that being in the air basically made you invincible. There were only a couple enemies that could actually do anything to you, especially when you were at a high elevation or high altitude. But in this game, like, I'd say a pretty significant chunk of the enemies can actually still be a threat even when you're that high. I think China is going to be the next big name in the stylish action game like beat-em-up scene. Because the Chinese love games like this. They love fighting games and action games and beat-em-ups. You know, stuff like Knights of Valor is like really popular over there. And now that we have you know, nice resources like Unity that make it easier for people to buy things. I mean, obviously the graphics in this game are not great. The animations are all motion tweaked. They're not as attractive as regular pixel art is, but the gameplay itself is like really good. You can tell that these guys have a lot of experience under their belt just from playing other games. As much as people bitch about indie games, there's plenty of genres out there that are a lot better off for them. Roguelikes. I know roguelikes are kind of becoming like I don't know the word for it, but they're a lot like the people who compare everything to Dark Souls. You know, game journalists will go crazy when anything is remotely similar to a roguelike or a Dark Souls game. But roguelikes are way more successful. They're a pretty popular genre now. Just in the past, like, not even a decade, maybe like 6 or 7 years. You have games like this that, you know, a big publisher would not touch, most likely. Which is kind of ironic because this game is actually doing pretty well for the small budget it has. I guess, you know, the expectations would be higher from a big company, obviously. But a game like this would have a really difficult time being made now, in this current era. But now that we have so many resources to make a game, you don't have to be, you know, you don't have to build up a bunch of debt or even go to school at all. You know, you can still learn how to make a game, and you know, thanks to early access, as much as people abuse it, you can actually get good feedback about your game. I mean, they've changed this game quite a bit, and it's only been a couple months, and there's been some night and day improvements. Alright, let me see if anything cool is in the shop. This would be nice to have on the boss, but unfortunately it is still too expensive. If I hadn't gone too crazy on upgrading the other stuff, that would have been more feasible, but unfortunately it's just it's not going to happen this run. Pretty much have no other means of making money at this point. I have like one more combat room left. That's obviously not going to be enough to raise another 400 gold. So we're going to full clear, aside from the 3rd floor. Since I have not played this for a while, it's fun to kind of come back to it. I estimate they'll probably have an update pretty soon. I hope they add daily challenges at some point. I think that's one thing this game is missing. I enjoy playing this game every day just because it's fun. I enjoy it, but it'd be cool to have more of an incentive. Like maybe they could give more of the currency, the unlocking currency for completing a run or placing high. You can see he's taking damage every time he's hit instead of when the parts reach a threshold. So that alone helps things to flow a lot faster than they did before. It's still a slow fight, but it doesn't feel as artificial as it did before. A lot less waiting around. Plus, I don't have a good elemental build at the moment, so that kind of slows things down a bit too. I had a pretty clean fight with this guy when I was testing out these changes earlier. But I had a much better build on that run, so it's not going to happen every time, unfortunately. he is attacking more often, but it doesn't feel unfair like it did before when there were two of them. Like, that just got really excessive. This is a pretty slow fight, not the best example, but I'll be playing this more now that they've fixed a lot of the problems. Oh wow, the Shadow Cloak did a lot of damage. I think I just found some new tech here. Let's see if I can finish him off with the Shadow Cloak proc. Oh wow. Alright, so the Shadow Cloak is is officially the new tech for taking this boss down quickly. Well, there you go. Here's a full run. So I don't know what the score does. I don't know if it actually makes a difference in how much you earn. But apparently I got a 7% increase for having a relatively decent run. Yeah, it says right there, 350 plus 107%, so it gave me 24 extra. I haven't done a run on anything harder than normal, simply because I've been trying to experiment with the changes. It's better to just kind of ease into the changes on these games instead of just going into the most difficult challenge, simply because you don't know what to expect. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I wanted to put this up because I haven't played this for a while. I've kind of missed playing this. Like I said, they have not been updating that often. I don't know if something's going on with them internally, or they just want to have more substantial updates. You know, sometimes people get annoyed with patches, especially for games like this, where if you make one change, it can be like pretty drastic to the meta. You know, sometimes people don't like seeing an update every day. I thought it was pretty cool to see this game get updated like 2 or 3 times a week, but it's not for everybody. You know, there's much bigger games that update like twice a week or something, and people freak out because they make changes and then revert them and stuff. So maybe they're trying to find a better balance, but when there is a new update, I will definitely keep you guys posted. And I'll probably be playing this again regularly just for fun. I like how on normal mode it can still be a little bit of a challenge, but it's not to the point where it stresses me out. I have had to watch my stress levels because of all the stuff I've been dealing with outside of the channel, so I haven't really been in a mood for particularly, or masochistic, challenging stuff lately. So it's nice that I can just play this on normal and just kind of just have fun for half an hour and not worry about it. The game is also structured in a way, or even if you get a shitty run, you get shitty gear, or it gives you some pretty crappy enemy combinations, you're still always moving forward. You're always gaining experience, so you're always, that little bit closer to a talent point, and you can use that to get stronger as well. I'll go ahead and I'll look at the talent tree one more time before I go. They've made it a lot easier to get to the good stuff. This survival perk definitely really helped a lot on that last run. I took a lot of hits because I'm not used to commentating the whole time while I play this. Normally I mute the mic, so my focus was not as good as it normally is. But that definitely helps. Just removing some of the fluff in the tree and kind of moving it to the talent system has helped quite a bit. They've done quite a bit of that. I don't know what they're going to do when they add more scales to the tree, because right now the cap is level 30. As you can see in the corner, I'm level 23, so I've got enough to max out some of the stuff in here, and then I'm not going to have any skill points. I hope that they increase the level cap later on, because otherwise it's just going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to take anything you want, and everybody's just going to settle into a cookie-cutter build. Obviously, the game's not really competitive. There is an online ranking, but there's not like daily challenges or anything at the moment, so I don't know how much they care about that, but I tend to get annoyed with games like this that are single player where they limit your points. That was a problem in that RWBY game. Like, that had a pretty restrictive skill point system, and like no one plays it online, and if they do, they play private games, so I didn't really feel like I needed to be limited in what I could take. So I downloaded the mod to just you know, make sure that I can get everything. I hope that they won't make that necessary. Anyway, that's it for now. It's quite the longest video I've done in a while. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you want to see more full commentated runs of this, you can go ahead and let me know. I'll probably try to put one in every now and then between the mic muted runs. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace.